Hey guys, today I'm going to take a minute to talk about my experience with the Rider Movement Program. A lot of you guys might remember our episode 142 with Gus Olds. Gus is a fitness trainer who specializes in equestrian athletes. He's had experience helping riders from a variety of different disciplines help and improve their performance. I'll put a link to his podcast in the comments of this video. So after recording the episode with Gus and learning about his philosophy and the program he's built up, I decided I'd give it a try. First thing he had me do was figure out where my imbalances were in my body, particularly twisting in my body. The biggest thing I've found out, and Gus talks about this in the episode we recorded with him, a lot of people are lacking mobility in their hips and in their shoulders, and it ends up putting a lot of torque on the spine, which is why a lot of riders have back problems, myself included. So he got me situated with a workout program. You have the option with his deal to either do it from home with minimal equipment. I think it's some kettlebells and TRX program. I was already going to the gym, so I was already had that habit. But I think it's important to remember, this isn't like I was doing a couch to 5K program. I was already exercising. I was already working out. So I think anyone who's not exercising at all could kind of get on any program and see a lot of benefits. But the benefits I saw here weren't because I finally started working out consistently. I was already doing that. So the workouts in the beginning were very humbling. They were things that looked very simple and were not at all. There's a lot of range of motion stuff, twisting, trying to get my hips and my shoulders and everything back kind of in line where they needed to be. I'll put photos up here of me on day 1 versus me on day 60. I will say it took about a week. So I was on a 3-day-a-week program. It took about a week before I started feeling great. And I am 30 now, and I've pretty much dealt with chronic hip and back pain to varying degrees since I was 18 years old, just because of the sports I did in high school, plus riding all the time. Again, go back and watch our episode with Gus. Gus will tell you how riding gets you out of whack. It's really not a physical endeavor our bodies are designed to do, even though we love to do it. So having a program like this, that every time I get off the horse and then I go to the gym, it realigns my body so I can be comfortable both in the saddle and walking around doing my daily routine. The other thing Gus did that was a big help for me is he worked on diet. And for me, I think the diet thing, even more than physical fitness, is one of those things where it's kind of like horse training. If you get on the internet, you can find every reason to do something and every reason not to do something, right? If you add up all the advice that's out there, it all kind of contradicts each other. And that's kind of how nutrition felt like to me. And so when he mentioned we were going to work on the diet phase, I was not really looking forward to it. What I really appreciated was he made it really easy for me. He gave me 2 parameters. It was basically how much protein I consume and what my glucose was. I've been using a personal glucose monitor. It's right here on my arm right now. It's just something you buy off Amazon. It's really easy. It's a patch you put on and then it links to your phone. For what it does, it's pretty affordable, I think. He was explaining to me how glucose is one of the biggest predictors of obviously type 2 diabetes, but arthritis, Alzheimer's, all these big things towards the end of your life, or maybe a lot earlier than that if you don't take care of yourself. Glucose can be a big factor in if those shows up. And one of the big things for me, obviously riding for a living, arthritis, but I also have a family history of type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's. So I tried to take that very seriously. But I appreciated that I didn't have to just completely change my diet. He just gave me 2 parameters to fit within. Again, the amount of protein I got and keep my glucose below this level. And wearing the monitor in the beginning was, again, very humbling. I thought I had a relatively good diet, but there were some things that I was eating that clearly didn't mesh with my body. So that was helpful to see in real time by wearing an actual glucose monitor versus just, pulling a diet out of somewhere and then seeing how I felt, which is kind of what is the only option for most people, it feels like. So anyway, we kept soldiering on, and man, guys, I just kept feeling better and better. I'd say the biggest takeaways for me were, again, how weak my hips were, how weak the rotation of my hips was, and what kind of torque that was putting on my lower back. One thing, and I know a lot of people are like this, they'll have to ride in their cowboy boots and then take off those boots and put on their comfy shoes. And I still wouldn't recommend, if you've got to walk all day, necessarily wearing cowboy boots. But me at the barn swapping horses, and then you work a colt, and then you go to the next colt, and then you get on another one, and all these different things, it's just really not convenient for me to be changing shoes back and forth all day. And one thing I noticed was, after about 3 weeks of doing this, I could stay in my cowboy boots all day and not have back pain, which was never the case beforehand. So that was pretty awesome. And yesterday I went out and doctored 3 calves by myself. And that's something, I always could do, but you'd maybe sit down at the end of the day and be a little achy, especially after having to wrestle some calves and get on and off a bunch. I didn't feel like that at all. I was literally squatting down over top of a calf, giving it a shot, and thought to myself, I was like, man, I can't believe the position my body's in right now. And I didn't even think about it. I just squatted down here and took care of it. I didn't, have to grunt and groan and get down there. So yeah, it's been a very humbling experience. I definitely, in some ways, was not as fit as I thought I was. It's kind of allowed me to do all the things I want to do horseback, and I don't have to worry about my body so much anymore. Meaning, I don't have the thought in my head, oh, I need to do this, but how is this going to feel? Where is the pain going to be felt? And again, just kind of off and on, depending on a variety of factors, I've always dealt with that pain. And so now, after a decade plus of that, in a couple months, more or less having that pain go away has been a huge game changer for me. You've got to make the decision for what's right for you, but I'm of the opinion, I love those stories of Bill Dorrance roping into his 90s, right? And if I get blessed enough to be that guy one day who can still go out and rope in his 90s, I want that. But I also am going to be proactive now at 30 years old and try to lay the foundation so I can go do that. That, to me, if you do anything riding related, a big investment you can do is invest in your body, because it's going to pay off in more than just the riding part of your life. Overall, I would recommend the program. Again, that's Gus Olds. You can look him up, look up the rider movement, check out his website, see what he has to offer, check out his Instagram. He's got a lot of good explanations there. Other than that, super easy workouts to follow, super straightforward nutrition plan, but it works, and I can't say enough good things.